Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's discussion, where we'll be talking about compliance, and we're going to dig into what that means for business and how we measure compliance standards using mystery shopping. I'm really happy to be joined today by two of Ipsos's leaders in our mystery shopping business to help break it all down for us. Joining me from Toronto is Becky Harris, who leads the Ipsos mystery shopping practice for Canada. Becky's going to talk about the importance of compliance measurement for business, including how it's measured and some of the common challenges and pitfalls that our clients experience with it. And joining us from Vancouver is Joey Lamb, VP and team lead from the mystery shopping business. And he's going to share some really great case studies on compliance from some of the work we do in liquor regulation, lottery sales, and in banking. And for anyone who doesn't know me, I'm Scott Morash, and I'm from Ipsos's client organization. And I'll just kick off things here with a brief overview of mystery shopping at Ipsos. Throughout today's session, there should be lots of time to ask questions. If you have a question for any of us, you can post that using the chat function in the platform. And we'll get to those at the end. But if we do run out of time, we'll be sure to follow up with you afterwards by email. And just as a reminder, we always record these sessions, and we'll be sure to send around a recording of it later in case you want to view it again, or maybe you want to share it with someone else in your business. So without further ado, I'll kick things off and I'll do a quick introduction of the mystery shopping practice here at Ipsos. Now, I'll start by saying mystery shopping is sometimes a mystery, and we get funny looks from our clients when we talk about mystery shopping because it's one of the services that Ipsos does that people just don't know very much about. And honestly, they don't always associate mystery shopping with a market research business. But a really fun fact is that Ipsos does run the biggest mystery shopping business in the world. And what's a little bit unique is that we own our own shopper panel, which gives us a lot of flexibility and scalability to size the panel and find different members of the panel to suit different client needs and different shopping occasions. Now, for us, mystery shopping is considered an integrated part of retail, channel, and service optimization. And when you think about it, this is by design because of the strong linkages that we often see between, say, customer and user experience studies, shopping insights. And so mystery shopping is often used in collaboration with these other services. Now, I would say broadly the two main types of mystery shopping programs we execute fall either into the compliance realm of things, which is obviously what we're going to be talking about today, or in the areas of competitive intel, brand and CX performance, or other company or brand activations. These are typically the two overall areas where we see most of our clients investing their time and resources. Now, on compliance specifically, we typically break down compliance into three overall types of programs. The first is pretty easy to imagine. It's what we call legal or regulatory compliance. Now, this refers to programs where we are measuring whether businesses are doing what's legally required, like checking for ID to make a purchase. Another type of compliance is what we would consider non-regulatory, which looks at measuring how well, say, a company's policies and standards are being implemented across its business. Some examples of this, easy ones to kind of imagine, are if a business sets out to make sure that their agents are greeting customers quickly upon entry into a location, or whether their staff are presenting in a consistent dress code or wearing name tags, and the list goes on and on. And the last form of compliance involves typically things to do with HR and training, and measuring whether frontline staff are implementing specific training, like something that the company has invested in, making sure that employees are all adhering to some sort of new company policies or changes in the business, and HR has rolled out training programs. And this would typically be like a training report card of sorts. Almost every business out there today, big or small, relies on some kind of compliance standard. Whether it's a legal requirement or just a company policy or adherence to specific standards that they set for themselves. These are just a handful of businesses and industries that Ipsos has partnered with to build compliance shopping programs. And you can likely imagine which ones focus on legal and regulatory versus measuring company policies. Our mystery shopping teams have tons of experience at this. We've designed some very complex shopping tasks, very simple ones, anywhere in between. And actually, I don't want to spoil it too much, but I think Joey's going to tell you about some of those programs a little bit later. So there we have it. Hopefully that's a really good overview of things for now. I'm going to pass things over to you, Becky, and hopefully you can give us a bit more flavor on what goes into compliance and what some of the key considerations are.
Thanks, Scott. Hi, everyone. Really happy to be here today talking about Mystery Shop. It's something I've been working in for 15 years, and it's evolved and it continues evolved over these years. More and more, I've seen compliance programs being created across many industries, as Scott mentioned. The subject is really close to all our hearts on this call, and I don't have to tell you how important it is. A strong compliance program differentiates your business. It demonstrates a commitment to responsible practices. And if you don't meet those compliance measures, you know it has dire consequences within your business. Compliance isn't just about a ticking a box exercise. It means avoiding penalties. In our data-driven era, it's a backbone to brand protection, customer trust, and business longevity. Compliance must be seen as a cornerstone of reputation management. Businesses that operate ethically reinforce customer confidence, which ultimately translates into trust and loyalty and obviously better business. A single compliance failure can lead to a significant loss of customer trust. A consequence like that can be much more expensive, far-reaching than just an immediate financial penalty. Operational excellence also directly stems from all employees adhering to these compliance protocols. By measuring compliance, we can ensure that operations are smooth and that customer interactions are built on a solid foundation of trust and consistency. The regulatory landscape is diverse and complex, varying across states, provinces, and countries. Understanding these differences by measuring compliance at each level allows businesses to stay ahead of the potential violations. Each layer within the business, from the frontline staff to the operators, deals with unique compliance challenges. Measuring these compliance can help bridge that gap, aligning all the stakeholders to these required standards. In our extensive work, which Joey's going to show you in a bit and Scott's talked about across many industries, we've learned that these certain challenges in measuring compliance are universal. The weight of these measures or these challenges varies by industry and by client. One of the primary challenges is navigating the varying regulations, which require businesses to stay agile and informed. A compliance manager such as yourself understands the dynamics nature of local and global regulations and the need to adapt continuously. The expectations of retailers, operators, and regulators often diverge, resulting in misalignment. It's a delicate balance requiring clear communication and shared objectives. Employee behavior is another hurdle. Resistance on or bias against compliance initiatives can undermine policies, emphasizing the need for employee engagement and training. Enforcement inconsistencies across teams or locations result in varied customer experience and potential compliance gaps. And I think most importantly, it's really about getting real-time data. It's crucial. Many traditional compliance checks miss out on providing timely insights, and that gap needs closing. Now, when it comes to measuring compliance, a program that is most effective should have some really key pillars. The first one being objective. This means evaluations are based on factual evidence and not influenced by internal politics or personal biases. It's ensuring integrity in the assessment process. They also need to be consistent. It is really crucial in applying compliance measures uniformly across all departments, locations within the organization. This ensures that every instance of compliance evaluation is held to the same standards, creating reliable, repeatable, and results that can be compared over time. Insightful. Some people don't think compliance programs can be insightful. but they can, and they need to go beyond the surface level of compliance checks. They need to provide a deep understanding and analysis. They need to identify root causes of compliance issues and giving actionable strategies for improvement, providing leaders with insights to make informed decisions. And as I mentioned before, timeliness is key. It's about providing up-to-date information that reflects the current state of compliance. This allows the business to move quickly, identify and address non-compliance before it escalates into bigger issues or attracts regulatory action. And finally, comprehensive. It needs to cover all relevant aspects of the business, including the different departments, the different processes, and geographic locations. It ensures that every angle of compliance is considered, leaving no gaps that could lead to unforeseen risks. In our experience, working with numerous clients and reviewing various compliance programs, we've observed a common reliance on a few key tools. These tools are internal audits, regulatory interactions, employee training, and customer feedback. Each of these has its place, but most of them, if not all of them, fall short of the key elements of a true effective compliance program. Let's start off and look at internal audits. While they're crucial for evaluating adherence to internal policies and controls, internal audits do lack the objectivity. They have unbiased perspective and external review, and they also may not be timely enough to identify any emerging risks or address rapidly changing regulatory landscapes. And furthermore, we all know they can be costly and time-consuming, which leads to infrequent evaluations. Now, looking at regulatory inspections, these are inherently reactive. They occur after potential non-compliance has already happened. They highlight areas needing improvement, but they don't offer proactivity. Insightful analysis needed for continuous improvement. Furthermore, fear of penalties can create a culture of hiding non-compliance rather than addressing it. When we look at employee training, it is essential for communicating expectations and building awareness. Training alone cannot guarantee consistent adherence. It can be a challenge to ensure all employees receive and retain the necessary information, especially in a large or dispersed organization. As well, training may not be insightful enough to address the root causes of non-compliance. And finally, customer feedback. It's very valuable in understanding the customer experience, but customer feedback is rarely comprehensive enough to cover all aspects of compliance. It tends to be subjective, and it may not reflect the full scope of compliance requirements. Additionally, you're relying solely on the customer. You're relying on them to recall what happened in the situation. And when you get the data, it may be too late to prevent non-compliance issues from escalating. A truly robust compliance program must be proactive. It must be insightful and comprehensive, going beyond these traditional tools to incorporate elements such as continuous monitoring, risk assessment, data analytics, and a culture of compliance embedded throughout the organization. This holistic approach ensures that the compliance is not merely a checklist, but an integral part of the business strategy, fostering ethical behavior and mitigating risks effectively. Mystery shopping often provides the most actionable insights by presenting an independent analysis of everyday operations. Really, what it comes down to is shoppers can be everywhere you can't and at any time. Mystery shopping is not just another tool, it's a strategic advantage. By offering objective assessments, it provides an unbiased view of compliance adherence, delivering real-time insights that are customizable based on specific needs or regions. The flexibility of Mystery Shop allows businesses to craft scenarios that address unique challenges and provide data collection across multiple locations and jurisdictions. This ensures a robust compliance assessment that helps businesses stay proactive. Additionally, these findings can significantly enhance training programs, making sure that all employees understand the importance of compliance and the necessary protocols to follow. Mystery shopping as a tool for measuring compliance not only provides a clear picture of how your business operates daily, but also helps you stay ahead by identifying issues before they become liabilities. It's a strategic investment into your company's future, safeguarding both your operations and reputation.
Fantastic. Becky, thank you for taking us through that. Actually, before we move on, something that I really picked up on in one of your slides was creating compliance programs that go beyond a simple pass-fail. You mentioned the word insightful. I've had conversations with several clients that have dabbled in doing this, and they really just focus on pass or fail. Did my business do or did not do something that I needed them to do? But I guess when you're doing compliance setups and setting up these programs, how do you make them more insightful beyond pass fail?
Thanks, Scott. I think that's a great catch on your part. It is something that's a really big passion of mine when it comes to mystery shopping, and my team will tell you, and Joey knows it as well, is that you always can measure the yes or no. You can always find out if it happened and when it happened, but it's really about how did it happen? Get more context around what's going on in that measurement. Compliance is about black or white, did or didn't it happen? But you also want to understand the the environment around that person. So, for example, what time of day was the shopper in the store? What day of the week was the shopper in the store? How many customers were in the store? How many customers were in line? What other things were happening around the shopper so that we can give a better context to why or why not compliance was being followed? It's a very big thing about how it happens versus just did it happen.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good point. I think we've probably all been in scenarios where we've been in busy retailers, long lineups,
Yeah.
people ahead of you are getting asked for ID, and you just think, oh man, this is going to take forever. But honestly, like that's not the time for a retail business to throw compliance out the window, right? Like just because it's busy, but that's good environmental context for, hey, did the pass or fail happen because of these other reasons? And then those really probably provide training and coaching opportunities for those staff and for those retailers.
That's exactly it, Scott. It helps in using the mystery shop rather than as a tool to reprimand or check in on people. It's a tool to help and grow and train people by giving more context. So yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah, yeah. Great. All right. So Joey, I think it's we're going to pass it over to you now. I'm looking forward to seeing what case studies you're going to talk about and what we can learn from those.
Great. Thank you, Scott and Becky, for providing the context and setting the stage. I'm really excited to share some stories today, the challenges in the space, the solutions, and some of the wins. So as Scott mentioned at the start of the webinar, many businesses need to measure compliance. And over the years, we've had the opportunity to work with many clients across industries. And a big thank you to some of you who are able to join us today. But today we have limited time, so I will cover the following three. So banking, lottery, and liquor. However, if you have any questions or if you're interested in finding out and learn more about what we've been doing with some of the other clients and some of the other industries, please do not hesitate to reach out after the webinar. So starting with lottery, we've been partnering with the clients in this industry for over a decade. Like lottery agencies manage, conduct, and they promote lottery and gaming products. And they have a set of standards that they must uphold and for selling these products. And it's especially important when it comes to minors. We've had the privilege to partner with these agencies to design age verification, ID check programs, and ticket validation mystery shopping programs. So first off, what are some of these compliance requirements? Well, age verification is pretty simple and easy to understand. Sales reps must check ID for any individual who might look under the age of 25. When it comes to lottery ticket validation, there are a few more things that these reps need to be compliant to. First, the winning lottery ticket must be signed by the customer before validation could even happen. Then the rest must also, without any prompt, without any nudge from the customer, they must then return the ticket to the customer as well as the validation slip. So one key challenge for our clients is reach. And this is not just unique to lottery and gaming. If or when a regulator audits the business must be able to show proof that the proper checks and balances are in place across their network. It's impossible to audit all your locations on your own, especially when jurisdictions have thousands of locations. So what is the solution? We've worked very closely with our clients over the years to create and design a sample plan that offers a close representation. It's strategic. We call it smart sampling. Some of the key factors that we keep in mind when putting this plan together. Number one, historic compliance performance. Locations that have failed a mystery shop are prioritized first. These locations are reshopped to ensure that the reps are adhering to the standards and training. Then there are new stores with new licenses. They're also prioritized after the initial onboarding. And then based on sales, we want to ensure that locations that are contributing to a large portion of the revenue is compliant as well. And of course, very critical, regional representation. We need to make sure that the results that are shared, insights are shared, represent the business as a whole. Another challenge in the recruitment for ID check or age verification programs, as you know, looks can be deceiving. And this is why it is so important for any businesses selling age-restricted products to check ID, because the risk is too high not to. For recruitment, there are two-step qualification shopper recruitment process that we follow. Step one, our shoppers are screened based on their age. We recruit shoppers from 18 to 24 years of age. They must also submit a selfie photo during that application. Our operations team then reviews all the applications, and any shoppers that might not meet that eye test, they get rejected. And we've been working closely with our clients to determine what's part of this eye test. And then step two, a list of approved shoppers are then shared with our clients for final approval. There are additional requirements, checks in place for our shoppers to really help them. We want to make sure that the shoppers look youthful, so we provide them with a checklist. We ask them to submit a selfie photo the day of the shop. They must look similar to the initial photo submitted during the application. We encourage them to dress casually with minimal makeup. And then for males, for men, no facial hair. And that's a big commitment, as I can testify to it. And for fun, I gave this a try myself. I tried my best to look like a student. I shaved my beard off, and then I went to a liquor store. I bought a cider and then went to a grocery store to purchase a lottery ticket. So the question is, do you think I got ID'd?
Oh yeah, 100%.
In that picture, yes, I would ID you for sure.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, you got a backpack on too, right, Joe? You're like pure student.
Yeah. Well, I was hoping that I wouldn't get ID, but in reality, I'm a little older than a university student, especially with two kids. They've added a lot of gray hair to my beard. Anyways, moving on. The next story that I want to tell is related to a partnership with financial services arm of a national retailer across different sales channels. So this could be a store within a store. This could be a kiosk within a store. We're also measuring reps who might be roaming or mobile within the store selling certain products. This also could include any activation sites at an event or even gas and convenience stores. So the key objective of this program is to provide oversight for our client on the application of the credit card or opening a bank account. So our client is obligated to evaluate all of their reps. The way this program is designed, the reps are identified into 3 buckets or groups based on risk factors. Number 1, historic performance. Reps who have failed in a previous mystery shop or have received complaints, they are prioritized first. And these reps need to be shopped within 30 days. And then there are the new hires, reps who have just newly been onboarded. They need to be shopped within 60 days to ensure that all the materials, all the training it has been absorbed and understood, and that they're adhering to some of the protocols. And lastly, the third bucket, all other reps that either no performance issues, did not receive a complaint, or is not a new rep, they must also be evaluated every 12 months. What's really unique here is that our client has strategically made a business decision to hire external vendors to recruit, and train, and coach sales reps. So not only is there a need to ensure all their own employees are trained and meeting in industry standards, they also need to ensure that their external partners are compliant as well. So for this program, the mystery shopping assessment had to match what's happening in real life. And this is especially important when it comes to more complex products and services like selling a credit card or opening a bank account. Shopper profiles must match real customers. Any questions or prompts must be realistic. The inquiry, the shopper journey should ideally go to the point of purchase. And in this case, up to the end of the application process, just before the signature. So to ensure that all the anti-money laundering and product communication requirements are met, we need to ensure that the shoppers are executing a wide range of scenarios. You can then imagine the challenge, training all the shoppers to ensure that they have a base level of understanding about the compliance requirements, both from a business perspective, but also from a legal perspective. But they also need to have a level of understanding that they are able to then act out the scenarios without giving themselves away. They need to keep the mystery and the mystery shopping. And we have worked very closely with our clients to build interactive training modules for our shoppers, offering them a high-level understanding of AML requirements, equipping them with the right things to say, right amount of detail about the products, so that they're able to act naturally and confidently and answer any questions that might come up. And lastly, the training is completed. The shoppers must also score 100% on any online quiz before they're even qualified to become a shopper. And periodically, we would ask the shoppers to complete another quiz when training materials have changed or scenarios have changed. The stakes here are quite high. In some cases, with multiple fails, the reps could potentially lose their job. Also, the nature of this industry also presents a massive operational challenge, especially with the economic uncertainty these days. We're faced with high turnover. Some of the reps are part-time employees, some are full-time, but also understanding that some of the reps take on this job as a stepping stone for their own career. Often reps don't have enough shifts in a given week. They might only work 1 or 2 days, 8 to 12 hours a week. And so that makes recruiting and scheduling shoppers extremely difficult. This becomes even more of a challenge when we're looking for a shopper in a more remote location. Lastly, we also have reps who cancel their shifts without much notice. So over the years, we have developed a tracking system closely with our client. We track every individual down to the rep. We track the number of shifts each week, the number of hours they're working. We track vacations, and sometimes we even track weather. We have an automated system that, as much as we can, automate it to minimize any amount of manual work. The client shares cancel shifts. We then share that with our operations team, who then communicates to our shoppers. It's truly been a great partnership with the client. The client also changed their internal processes to help some of the schedules of the reps to ensure that we are able to evaluate the right reps within the right time frame. And here's a quote from the client. We need to prove that we did everything we could to assess every rep within the required time frame in order to meet compliance's requirements. So the last story today is in the liquor industry. The key objective here is quite similar to lottery and gaming. It's an ID check or age verification check. And we know the world is changing, especially after 2020, and the world is still pivoting and changing. And the alcohol landscape has changed drastically as well. Alcohol rules are different by province. Across the country, we know that alcohol is sold in restaurants, public and private liquor stores. For some provinces, alcohol is also available in grocery stores. And just recently, Ontario added or made alcohol available within convenience stores. And then remember COVID, right? Since COVID, alcohol is also now available delivered to our homes. So who should care? Restaurant owners, if caught selling to a minor, this could lead to a big fine and potentially losing their license or even having to close their business. Liquor stores, grocery and convenience stores, for these players with the added competition, losing their license can be very damaging. For grocery and convenience, reputational damage just doesn't impact sales on alcohol. It could have implications on some of the other products. And then delivery companies now thrown into the mix. It's a very complex system for regulators. And it is critical to measure compliance, as we've been discussing. And we have been working with Nova Scotia Liquor for over a decade, helping them improve their pass rates year over year and exceeding 90%. It's a program that has grown and evolved, adding new channels like home delivery. We complete over 1,800 shops a year, offering real-time data and insights to NSLC so that they can maintain a high compliance standard and ultimately foster a safe retail environment. I recently asked Ashley, who's the responsible retailing advisor at NSLC, I asked her how they're able to successfully motivate their employees to care about compliance. And I've summarized her response into 4 C's. The first one is corporate culture. It is part of NSLC's mandate to safely offer their product is to ensure people are of age. And communication. NSLC talks about mystery shopping all the time. And they really highlight the importance. There's frequent update to store leadership to ensure that they're able to action on some of the learnings. There's continuous training. Any failed mystery shop, they are required to complete the NSLC responsible retailing training again. And lastly, to celebrate the success, and it's important. There's no reason here to trick folks with the mystery shops, and ultimately making sure NSLC is able to uphold their responsibility for responsible sales practices. So Scott at the start of the webinar helped define the different types of compliance. We've mainly covered the legal requirements, but compliance encompasses more than that. Here's a quote from our client, New Brunswick Liquor. While compliance is ensuring your employees meet regulatory standards and policies, compliance also means meeting internal standards. With ANVL, while the key objective of the program is to identify or ID, the ID verification, ID check, we've also included some questions to measure CX KPIs. To wrap up, at its core, mystery shopping is used to assess how internal processes are working or how employees are behaving. In this webinar today, we've highlighted the effectiveness of using mystery shopping to measure compliance with a focus on legal requirements. However, mystery shopping can also be leveraged as a CX measurement tool to dive deep into customer service quality, to understand the process of product recommendation. So what was recommended first, and how effective the closing of a sale was. So a quick plug here, make sure to keep your eyes out for our next webinar, where we'll dive and explore into the use of mystery shopping into the CX world. Thank you.
Great stuff, Joey. Those are awesome case studies, not least of which was your personal case study about your shopping expedition. That's awesome. I've been watching the chat here as you guys have been speaking, and we have a few minutes left, so I thought we would maybe field a couple questions.
Sounds good.
The first is I'm going to combine two questions because they're kind of similar. Okay, so here's one. How do you ensure the shoppers doing mystery shopping are doing things consistently? That's a good question. And then here's the related question. How do you ensure that the results from mystery shopping are accurate? So I kind of lumped consistency and accuracy together. What do you guys think about that?
I can take that one. So quality and consistency come hand in hand, and there's that saying, garbage in is garbage out, right? So it's really important when we set up the program that we truly understand some of the compliance needs, but when we design, even from sampling to recruitment to training, that it's clear. So for example, in one of the case studies, we mentioned that we need to recruit shoppers that really would match what an actual customer would look like. We need to train and prepare our shoppers to understand that experience. So they need to be able to go in to speak like an actual customer. They would be able to answer certain questions or even bring up certain questions so that it's really lifelike. Because we need to keep the mystery in the mystery shopping. And from a sampling perspective, we need to make sure that the data is representative of the business. So then it's important to look at different risk factors when picking locations, ensuring that it represents the business as a whole, and considering all the different factors like performance, previous performance, or even internal performance like sales data.
Right. Yeah, makes total sense. Okay, let's take another question. Here's one that I've actually coincidentally heard before in discussions with some clients, and I'll just sort of interpret the wording of it. That it's to do with some companies who have done some of the work internally before. So maybe they have their own regulatory inspectors, or maybe they partner with local law enforcement or whatever it is to do some of their own compliance shops themselves. And the question really is, how is Ipsos's mystery shopping different from doing this? Because obviously, if you do it internally, there might be, some savings or efficiencies. But if you hire an external supplier, the cost might be more to the business. But how is it different, really?
Yeah, we get the question all the time, Scott, and we have clients often coming to us with their own internal programs and asking us to take a look. It really comes down to that unbiased perspective, right? You want to make sure the shops are being done consistently the same every single time, make sure there is the fresh outside perspective. Want to make sure that you have a third party doing it, because ultimately when it comes down to it, if the shops are failing or passing, you can always ask Ipsos or point to Ipsos and ask for support in explaining that data. It's always easy we support our clients all the time through that. And as I said, one of those big important pillars of a really good compliance program is objectivity. And so I think that's why you need that outside view.
Yeah, absolutely. Makes total sense. Just watching the time here, I think we could probably do one more question. And thanks to everyone for sending in your questions. We're going to have to get back to some of you by email. Okay, last one, guys. And this one's a good one because it relates to obviously our large geography in Canada and the United States. How do you get shoppers to go into more remote parts of provinces or US states? This is probably a consideration for companies that have big retail networks, and you can't forget that they do operate in small geographic areas or in less populated areas. So how do you do that? How do you get your shopper network to go into more remote areas?
That's a great question, Scott. I can take that one. As you mentioned, we have the Shop for Ipsos panel. We have one both in Canada and the US, and they do spread across nationally. As expected, most of the shoppers are situated in the most populated areas of the countries. Not surprising, but we know there's far-reaching areas of Canada, especially that we have to get into. Doing this for 15 years, I've learned a lot of little nooks and crannies of Canada that I've never heard about. Learned about a lot of communities and a lot of different ways of doing things across this country. So it's been a really interesting journey. But how do we get there? While we use recruitment tools to get shoppers in those areas, if we know that we're going to have a decent number of shops happening in that region or that little town, then we go in and we try to find shoppers through various sources, social media, job boards, all sorts of different ways to get those shoppers working on the panel for us. If we know that we need a shopper only once in a while, or it's a different kind of program where the shopper can drive in, sometimes we'll get shoppers in nearby cities to take a road trip for us and go try out and do the shop. But we also understand the nuances that when you get into those small communities of 200-400 people, everybody knows everybody. So if you drop someone in there who's not from that area, the mystery is no longer in mystery shop. So we really make sure when we meet with our clients, we talk to them about their sample. And it really goes back to the smart sampling Joey had mentioned earlier, is understanding what locations need to be shopped, how often do they need to be shopped, how important are they to your business? If it's a location that's not of high importance, do we need to be there every quarter? It's really sitting down with the client, understanding the regional spread and understanding the way Canadians work as well. But we definitely can get shoppers in some nooks and crannies that I didn't think we ever could.
Yeah, I suppose that's true, and goes to some good recruiting practices and careful sample selection. So yeah, great. Thanks for that. We're going to wrap it up there. We're pretty much at time. So Becky, Joey, thank you so much for joining me today. This has been really, really insightful. I hope everyone has enjoyed the content. And as Joey mentioned, watch your inboxes. We will not only send this recording around, but we will very likely be back in the fall for a follow-up mystery shopping webinar geared more towards CX and competitive intel and some brand activation content. Thanks very much and have a great day.
Thanks everyone.